Hi and welcome to my channel. For this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make these adorable little craft bows. These bows are so quick and easy to make and just such an adorable accessory you can add onto your craft projects. Personally, I love adding these bows onto my plushies. I think the bow just makes some of the plushies so much cuter. If you like crafting and plushie tutorials, be sure to definitely check out my channel. My channel is filled with so many other videos just like this one. I really try to break down my tutorials step by step so anyone, even beginners, can learn how to make my plushies. I just love sewing so much and I absolutely love being able to share my passion with you guys. Before I jump straight into this tutorial, I just want to point out that there are lots of different kinds of ribbon. And after making many of these bows, in my opinion, I found some types of ribbon are much easier to make these bows than other types of ribbon. I'll get more into which types of ribbon I personally prefer using when making these bows and why, but for now, I just wanted to give you guys that heads up because I would really hate for you to make your first bow, be unhappy with how it turned out, and then be quickly discouraged, when it may have nothing to do with your technique and was just simply the type of ribbon that you used. I want you all to be successful in making these bows, so I'll try to give as many tips and pointers as I can. Now with all that being said, let's get into this tutorial. To make this bow, all you're going to need is some ribbon, which I'll be using satin ribbon in this video, and this satin ribbon is actually glossy on both sides, so see how it's shiny on this side and how it's also shiny on this side as well. Some satin ribbon is only glossy on one side and the other side is matte, so I just wanted to let you know that this ribbon is glossy on both sides, just so you know exactly what kind of ribbon I'll be using in this video. You're also going to need some thread that matches the same color as the ribbon. A pair of scissors. I've had these scissors for so long and I just love the pattern so much. I think it's just so adorable. Some type of fabric glue that dries clear, and just to let you guys know, I'll be using tacky glue. And of course a sewing needle. And also you can sew a bead onto your bow as well if you would like. You most certainly don't need to add a bead onto your bow if you don't want to, but if you would like to, I'm going to be using these like small pearl beads. So as you can see, they're kind of on the smaller side. And then I also have these larger pearl beads that I like to sew on some of my bows, but for this video, I'll be using these little small ones. Before you can start making your bow, you're going to have to first thread and knot your needle. And if you don't already know how to do this, that is completely okay. It's so easy. And I actually have a video for it, so I'll link that on the screen for you to go check out. Once you have your sewing needle threaded and knotted, you can put this over to the side in a pin cushion. And next you're going to take the ribbon that you're going to be using to make your bow, and you're going to want to cut a piece that's about 4.5 inches. It doesn't need to be exactly 4.5 inches, just approximately that amount. So I'm going to take a ruler and just measure out 4.5 inches. So right there. Then I'll take some scissors and cut the ribbon. Now you're going to take that piece of ribbon and you're just going to fold it around like that. Then you're going to take this top part of the loop and you're going to pull it down just like this. And you're going to want to try and make this loop over here and this loop over there about the same size so that the bow will be as proportionate as possible. Now you're going to take the sewing needle that you threaded and knotted earlier, and you're going to make your first stitch through the ribbon right around here. And then you're going to pull all the way. And then you're going to make a stitch right around here. And again, pull all the way. And it should look something like this. Next, you're going to pull the thread so that it bunches the ribbon kind of together. And then you're going to take the thread and you're going to wrap it around the middle of the bow, kind of scrunching the bow together. And just wrap it around a few times to hold it in place. If you'd like to add a bead onto your bow, this is the time you're going to add it on. And to do that, what you're going to do is make a stitch right around here. And then pull all the way. Then you're going to take your bead and put it through your sewing needle and pull it all the way down to the bow. Then you're going to make a stitch right around here, like that, and then pull. And there you go. Once the bead is on your bow, you can turn it around, and you're just going to make a few knots back here to hold everything in place. To make a knot, you're going to take your sewing needle and make a stitch through the thread right here, pull, and then go through this loop and pull all the way. And then you're going to want to do that probably 2 more times. So make a stitch, go through the loop, pull. Again, make a stitch, go through the loop, pull. After making the knots, you can just cut the thread. So I'm just going to take my scissors and simply cut the thread. At this point, your bow is done, but we still have to clean up the ends of the ribbon. And to do that, you're going to take your scissors and just make a cut like that, and then one over here as well. And as you can see, I like making the cuts kind of on an angle. Now we have to seal the ends of the ribbon, otherwise it's probably going to start fraying. There are some different methods to prevent ribbon from fraying, but personally my favorite method is to use tacky glue, which is this glue right here. From my experience, it gives pretty consistent results and it's really easy to do. If you want me to make a video on the different ways to prevent ribbon from fraying, just let me know down in the comments. You know, just because this is my favorite method, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be yours as well. So I encourage you guys to try out different methods and find what works best for you. So I'm just going to take the tacky glue and put some on the end of the ribbon. And then you're going to take your finger and just lightly take the excess glue off. Like that. And then you can seal the other end of the ribbon the exact same way. You really don't need that much glue on the ends of the ribbon to prevent it from fraying. And when you turn it over to the other side, usually when I make these bows, there ends up being a little bit of glue on the back of the ribbon. But honestly, I really don't care about this because when you add this bow onto whatever project you're going to be adding it onto, you're not going to see the back of the bow. After you add the glue onto the ends of the ribbon, you're just going to have to let it dry. And what I like to do is I like to take a smaller spool of thread like this one right here, and I put the bow right on top of it like this. And I find this is a nice way to kind of prop up the bow in a way so that the ends of the ribbon aren't touching anything and they can dry nicely. I don't know if this tip is helpful at all, but I just want to let you guys know this is how I let my bows dry. After you finish sealing the ends of the ribbon, you're all done with your little bow, so yay! Isn't it so cute? And you can experiment making these bows with lots of other different kinds of ribbon. So like I said in the beginning of this video, I used satin ribbon that had a glossy end on both sides to make this bow right here. And I absolutely love how the bows look when I use this type of ribbon. Satin ribbon is just so soft and flexible. It makes it so easy to scrunch the ribbon up into this bow shape. So I personally think it's a very easy ribbon to use and work with when making these bows. The only downside I have to say about satin ribbon is it frays so easily. So if you're using satin ribbon, when you cut the ends of the ribbon, I recommend sealing them as soon as possible because they start fraying so quickly and easily. So just to show you guys how quickly and easily satin ribbon frays, I'm just going to lightly touch the end of the ribbon. And as you can see, it's already starting to fray. I just love these bows when they're made with the satin ribbon. I just think they have a beautiful shine to them and they're just so adorable. And they're really easy to make, like I said, since they scrunch up so easily. So I made a whole bunch with that satin ribbon. Just so cute. And then I also made some with this yellow satin ribbon. Again, this yellow ribbon was glossy on both sides, so a very similar type of satin ribbon as this teal one over here. And again, I made a whole bunch of them. Just so cute. And I also made some bows with this pink ribbon, and this pink ribbon again is satin, but it's only glossy on one side and the other side is actually matte. So it's a little bit different than these since they have glossy ends on both sides. I would say the one that has the glossy end on one side and the matte end on the other, it's ever so slightly more difficult to bunch it up into the bow shape, but it's just so slight you probably won't even notice it. And honestly, I think the bows come out looking very similar. Another type of ribbon that's really easy to work with when making these bows is sheer ribbon, and I have two examples of it right here. Sheer ribbon is kind of like a mesh-like material and it's see-through. So as you can see, the yellow ribbon is see-through, and then the middle part of the blue ribbon is see-through as well. The ends of this blue ribbon look like it might be satin just by looking at its appearance. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. And then to show you guys what the bows looked like when I used these ribbons, here they are. And I just think they look so cute. I think the sheer ribbon just makes the bows have like a whole different look and dimension to them. I love them. Honestly, this yellow bow right here is probably my favorite bow that I made. The last type of ribbon that I like to use when making these bows is grosgrain ribbon, and grosgrain ribbon has a ribbed texture. So if you can see all those lines going across the ribbon, that's the ribbed texture that I'm talking about. And this type of ribbon is more thick and durable than the satin and the sheer ribbon that I showed you guys previously. So it does make it a little more difficult to bunch this type of ribbon up into the bow-like shape, but it's still possible and still makes a really cute bow. So to show you what the bows look like when using these ribbons right here, here they are. See, they're still super cute. And one pro to using the grosgrain ribbon is that the ends don't fray very easily. So you don't have to worry about like immediately sealing the ends because they're not going to fray very quickly. But you are going to want to seal them eventually because if you want to keep the bows long term, it's probably going to start to fray at some point or another. One type of ribbon I wasn't a huge fan of using when making these bows was glitter ribbon. And don't get me wrong, this ribbon is gorgeous. I think it's so beautiful, but I don't think it's the best type of ribbon to use when making these bows just because it's so stiff. And you're going to find that the ribbons that are more stiff are more difficult to use when making the bows just because it's going to be harder to scrunch this type of ribbon up into the bow-like shape. So I was able to make a bow with this type of ribbon, and I'll show you how it turned out. And it came out looking really cute, but I'm not going to lie, I did have a bit of difficulty making this. When I was making the bow, the glitter was falling off, it was a bit messy, and it was hard to scrunch it up into this shape. It was not as easy as using the other types of ribbons that I described earlier, but I was still able to make the bow. So it is possible, but if you are making these bows for your first time, I recommend trying out the satin and the sheer ribbon first, and then from there, you can try out the grosgrain ribbon. And then after you gain experience making the bows with those types of ribbons, then, try any type of other ribbons you want out and see if you're able to make the bows. Some of them, they might be more difficult, but you might be happy with how they come out. So I encourage you guys to try out lots of different types of ribbons and find which ones work best for you. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and have lots of fun making your own bows. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please be sure to leave them down in the comments. I always love hearing your ideas. Thank you so much for being here, supporting my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.